Clearance.
What's your vector, Victor?
The white zone is for unloading and loading of passengers. There is no parking in the red zone.
Anybody who gets these references is awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
You're awesome.
All right.
And that's a bro-hoo for me, too.
These things are awesome. Yeah, yes. Come on.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you saw that? Okay, we're still getting some people, so.
Yeah, they're not going to be here.
I haven't seen them all day. Like, their tables.
Okay, their table's not even open.
Yeah, they're fine. It's just they'll be fine.
So we got everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They knew what they were getting into. Leave them behind. So, if you want to get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
And to everybody coming in, this is the art panel.
Yeah.
We draw stuff.
Hello. And I'm your modest moderator of Final Draft, and so I figure we can go down the line here, this side over, to introduce each other. So go ahead.
I'm Toxic Mario, comic artist. Yeah.
I am Citra360, that's artist spelled backwards. We love fine artists.
I'm Pixel Kitties. I tweet about beer.
And I'm Trigian. I do oil and canvas paintings.
I just want to say this is a true story. This morning when I was walking through the artist alley, I saw his painting of the schoolhouse, the Impressionist painting. I was like, hey, that's one of my wallpapers. So you guys have probably seen his work, in digital form as well. One quick question to the tech crew, Rich or someone. Is there a way we can hook up a laptop to show things here in case? So maybe if we mention an artist, we can show their DeviantArt? Is that possible? All right, sweet. All right.
Every one of the ones we've done.
Well, I'm going to ask a basic question just to start off. And my basic question for all of you, maybe just go down the line again, is how did you get involved in the artistic community for My Little Pony franchise is Magic?
Oh, me? Sorry. Basically, I think, what was it? He showed me it in February, and then it was in April. Basically, in May of 2011, I was on Citra's live stream, and he was showing off, I think it was the Night of Pony video, and I was curious about it. I was just ponies, and I really was negative about it. I was like, no, this is boring. This is, like, stupid. And then I took a gander and watched the first episode, because I didn't start anywhere in the middle, like I know a lot of people have. I started from the very beginning, and I blasted through all of season 1 in less than a weekend, I would put it that way. And ever since I think the date of the initiation was May 24th, I've been a brony ever since 2011. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if we can get Toxic. You've got a DeviantArt, I assume.
Yes.
I think I've seen it even.
Yeah.
If we could get his DeviantArt page up, just so people can get an idea what his art looks like. If you're good on that.
Put it up on the big screen.
Oh.
Okay, don't stand.
Because right now it looks like all he does is bright blue works. This is his abstract work called Source Computer. It recently sold at auction for 5 or 6. Not bits.
Wait,
no, I'm trying to think of a fake currency.
Wait, hold on.
Widgets.
No, you're wrong. That's Windows ME.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
It's part of his blue series.
It's part of his blue series.
His blue.
He's been going through a blue period. Does somebody have a lap? I thought we were good. Oh, we have to plug it in up here? Oh, does somebody have a laptop back there?
Plug it in,
Come on. No? Maybe you guys have a laptop?
Back at the dealer's room.
There's one right there.
Someone's got one? Who's got? Does it have that? That's a pretty. Okay, who's got a laptop? Somebody bring it up here. We got to show some art. You got a laptop? Yeah. Oh wow. We got okay. Does it have Okay. Does the MacBook have a VGA output on it? I don't think so. Okay.
Does anybody
Does
have
yours?
a dongle?
Does yours have a VGA output? I'm gonna do some. I'm being snarky about this because most of these artist panels, unfortunately, there've always been technical issues that get in the way of showing the art that these people do. Oh, here we go.
All right.
Yeah,
Dude, he got
8-track
it
to the
down.
rescue.
Where's the cable at?
Dude, he got it down.
All right. So while he sets up.
Hey, who's the guy?
Hey, who's that guy with the thing in the place? Okay, what?
Yay!
Hoorah.
So let's put up some of Toxic Mario's work real quick.
Oh, that cat's pretty awesome.
Just be very careful with that search engine.
I'll be curious to see what it searches for first.
Well, just give me, what was it? What.DeviantArt.com?
It's Toxic-Mario, like you had it.
It looks like it.
There it is.
That looks like his stuff.
That's my stuff. Yeah, you can put. Actually, go to the Cognac one. That's a good one. Yeah. I like that one better. Oh, it's an old comic.
So when you start going into the digital art that you do, I mean, what drew you towards doing comics?
I kind of did single pictures for a while, just up until August, and then I want to tell more of a story, and I want to branch off, just kind of like what would happen if after an episode ended or something that would happen between an episode. I was like curious, like, okay, maybe I could spin a story, a short little comic, and that's kind of what I've been doing for a while. I was just doing all these comics for a while, and I just ever since August of 2011, I've been just doing comics. It's just much more. I can express myself a lot better, and I can kind of tie in what I think can happen in the show with my own ideas. That one.
That is not a happy-looking derpy.
And the Mad Derpy one. Yes, I remember that one.
Yeah,
was
that
good
is a
one.
happy-looking derpy. That's awesome.
No, some of these are. No, I like some of these. Some of these comics, actually, these older ones, I find are some of my better ones. In like the New Shade of Friend, that was one of my more favorite comics I ever did. I'm actually one of those I decided to make into a print. So it's so sad. And I think this is the first comic that I ever got down of putting the Phillies, especially Philly Derpy. This is the first initiation comic of her that I got her very correct. I love this comic. It took me about 20 minutes to think of the idea. It took me about 20 something hours to make the entire comic. I played around with a lot of angles and stuff. Oh, no, you can't see it. No. Oh, the closing thing is so
The
good.
dial-up
Oh.
internet is taking its
To be
time.
Suspense is
continued.
killing me.
Never know
Wait,
what happened.
no. Uh-oh. No. It's going so slow. There you
Come
go.
on, you can do it.
Hooray.
Aw.
Yep. That's one of my favorite comics I ever did.
Now, your artist name, I have a hard time pronouncing because I'm bad at pronouncing names. But I know it's
Try.
Citra.
Pretty close.
How do you say it?
T Citra or Citra. But
Just Citra?
I like that. Citra.
Well, I'm thinking, okay, his name is artist backwards, spelled backwards. And if you've ever heard, there's a type of fly in Africa that's actually very dangerous called tsetse fly, and it's TSE. So I look at it and it's like Citra to me. That's I don't know, whatever.
Word association.
So 360, how you doing?
I'm extremely tired. This is the first thing I drink all day.
No, I know that feeling. Okay. So as you can see, this is his DeviantArt here, and why
The
don't
first
you talk
one's a commission. You can skip that. That's not mine.
why don't you talk a little bit about how you got into the fandom and how you developed this kind of a style?
Put in a summary. I discovered through YouTube and I got hooked on it. As to how I got into the fandom, the year was 2011, April. I decided to do some sketches practice, and I was like, I'm going to draw a rainbow dash. The very bottom left corner, I drew a very crude half-doodled rainbow dash. If you look at it now, it's like, what? Does not make sense. Like, this is the same person drawing it. All the comments was just on that rainbow dash. Bro hoof, welcome to the herd. And everything was like, what? Who are you people? So I had to do some research. I found Equestria Daily. I'm like, there is a freaking huge community around this. I'm going to draw more. That's how I got into the community.
So you were forced into it then?
I would have gotten in it anyways.
Oh yeah. Well, hello, Pixel.
Hello, Draft.
And how are you this fine day?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well.
That's
Actually,
good, that's
I told Pixel Kitties I thought it would be really cool if she brought up some of her bottles. She's been selling these. These actually have they have actual liquid in them.
Yes.
And it's really good. So I'm tempted to be that guy to open one up. But anyway, I know we've asked you this before, but just for the people who may not have heard, how did you get involved into the artist community in the Brony fandom?
Well, it was February of last year, 2011, and in the bygone naive days, I was looking forward to Dragon Age 2 before it actually came out. And I was haunting the BioWare forums, and all of a sudden, it seemed like overnight, there was this glut, some would say plague, of pony avatars that somehow popped up everywhere. And I wanted to be one of the cool kids, right? So I went and found a picture of G1 Firefly and changed my avatar, and of course, I was completely in the wrong, and I was soon pointed in the right direction of this. I had no idea, this incredible new craze for Gen 4 Friendship is Magic, My Little Pony. And 2 episodes in, I was completely hooked. And I started haunting around looking for more of a pony fix. And I ended up on various websites, various forums, and image boards where people were doing little contests saying, hey, draw Rarity rescuing a cat or whatever. They come up with crazy ideas, and you could win this pony. Well, I wanted to win a pony. So I started entering these contests, and next thing you know, I was getting a lot of pony art made. And I went back to my DeviantArt page, which I hadn't touched. I made it and never did anything with it years ago, like 7 years ago while I was in college. And I decided to finally start using it and started uploading pictures of small horses in various shades and hues. And here I am now, somehow.
Well, and one thing I really like about your artwork is that you, I mentioned this, and I said I was going to mention this on the panel too. Your artwork has what I call the guffaw factor. Oftentimes, when I see a new Pixel Kitties artwork, you look at it for a second, then you just kind of like, you just laugh. It's awesome. So, like this, yeah. If you haven't seen that, it's awesome. But it just has a little bit of a guffaw factor. Well, anyway, it's Trigian, right?
Yes, you got it right.
You got to speak into the microphone.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, now Trigian, you do a completely different style of artwork. Yours is non-digital. And
Yes.
I wanted to see if you come from a background of doing other canvas-based paintings and that sort of thing, and if that's how you ended up kind of transitioning into the Brony fandom.
Actually, no. That is not how I got into the Brony fandom. It's not how I got into the Brony fandom, actually. But I started painting oil and canvas paintings in 8th grade when I had an amazing art teacher who started a 2-week program where you could pick which teacher you wanted to follow for 2 weeks in middle school. An awesome school like that. And I chose the art teacher because he was going to teach us how to paint with oils. So that was 9 years ago, give or take a few months. I forget if that turns which way. But I painted all through high school. I painted a little bit in college. And I kind of fell off until the newbie artist training grounds. Oh, meanwhile, I became a brony at some point. That happened.
It kind of does.
Yeah, it kind of does sometimes. I'd actually heard about Friendship is Magic like before it happened, but I wasn't interested. I was actually kind of terrified. I was like, Lauren Faust is going to make this commercial like thing out of My Little Pony, really? And I didn't think it was going to be any good until several months after, almost a year after it first aired, and the entire first season is on YouTube. Someone's like, okay, watch it. And at that point, I was hooked. As soon as you see Winter Wrap Up, as soon as you see the amazing amount of detail and effort that went into this cartoon, we all know it's really, really good. And so I was hooked. But I still wasn't producing anything for it. I was just a consumer at that point. Until the newbie artist training grounds that January, there was a particular question, draw a barded pony, a pony wearing armor, because it was all like military-based themes. So I got out my colored pencils and my regular pencils and graphite, and I drew out a pony wearing armor as best I could, having not done anything artistic in probably 2 years. And my friend literally laughed out loud at it. So at this point, I look at it, and it was hilarious. It's not very good. But I knew at that point, it's like, okay, I won like the artist award in high school, and like my art teacher said I was good, and like I know I can do something. So I went back to what I knew I was good at, and that was my oil on canvas paintings. I stretched a canvas, and I took about a month. I took a lot of time and effort into doing the intro shot of Ponyville. There it is. And basically I just did it to show it to my friend and be like, ha, you laughed at me and my work, so I make this. What I didn't expect was within an hour of me uploading it to my DeviantArt, which had existed for 2 years, this is a new account, I changed names, so it's not 2 years old, but this one had existed for a while, and nothing on it except for a Rainbow Dash sitting on top of the companion cube. Twilight Sparkle sitting on top of the companion cube, which I had uploaded soon after becoming a brony. And I had like 50 hits, whatever. Some people saying, that's funny. So I uploaded this, and within 2 hours, it's on Equestria Daily, and I have 20,000 views within 3 days. And I'm just like, wow. Wow. It was like, it got up to page 3 on the front page of Reddit. Which is just like, wow. So like, I've got to do more of this.
And this particular work is actually featured in the Traveling Pony Museum.
Yes, it is in the Traveling Pony Museum, and it's still my favorite. I'm trying to get back to where I was in my first one. So but it's been a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed basically teaching myself how to paint with oils again. Trying different styles. I've recently done a lot of night scenes, and the best part about this community is it's so encouraging. I feel like I'm safe to explore and do random different crazy things, and so far everyone's been really supportive, and I had fun.
Well, and I was going to say, I mean, it seems like everybody on this stage here, including myself actually, not that I'm an artist, but everyone in the artist community, in the brony community, in the brony artist community is on DeviantArt. And I wanted to see if you guys could talk about the role DeviantArt as a website, as a social media phenomenon, has played in your choice of works, and how you interact with your fans.
I don't know. I just go to DeviantArt just because it's more accessible for me. I don't really go on to Tumblr. I don't really do anything else. I just like going to DeviantArt and post my stuff there. I just feel, for me personally, I can interact with just a lot more. I don't know. I guess the fans or the fandom. I feel like I know a lot of people on Tumblr, but I just feel like for me personally, I just get to know people a lot better through DeviantArt. I feel it's a little bit more accessible for me than anything else. I don't know. I guess I kind of can explain it, but I don't know. I just really exclusively use DeviantArt. I don't really use any other site or anything else, but I don't know. I guess. You go, Chris.
It looks like you may have answered it for everyone there.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else there has something.
Actually, I have a question. I was wondering, I don't know, it was just popping into my head while I was sitting there thinking, like, I know how, like, there's been image websites of, like, just cataloging everything that's come in. What about, like, I don't even know if this exists, like a pony version of DeviantArt? Literally just an artist, like, community just for that.
I think that's called DeviantArt.
I was about to say the same.
At this point, it sort of is. I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh for video game design, of all things, and
Lucky.
one of my classes had the assignment that we were supposed to create an art page and upload our art and get critique on it. So, one of the examples they gave us was DeviantArt. So I thought, well, that's simple. I'll make a DeviantArt. And I did, and it didn't seem to work, and then it kind of worked, and then the teacher forgot about the assignment, and I forgot about the page forever. When I decided I started to want to showcase this pony art, I just sort of went back to it because, all in all, it seemed simple. I have a Tumblr. Tumblr is neat, but to me, seems like more of an interactive showcase where you're putting something up and then you're getting feedback and then people are asking you questions and you're responding. DeviantArt is more of a social media showcase where You're saying, here's the piece, and people can comment it, negative or positive. And it's, I don't know, it's more of a museum kind of thing. It's up, it's there. This is a period when I was working like this. Tumblr is more Facebook, MySpace. It seems like it gets buried behind all your cat pictures and the latest episode of Doctor Who after about 6 weeks. But DeviantArt seems more persistent. It seems more
Like a gallery.
yeah, exactly. It's a gallery, an online gallery.
Well, and I was going to say, too, I mean, I think that it's true, I believe, of everyone up on stage here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that you have done artwork that is not just limited to the pony fandom, and that, you know, I think DeviantArt gives you an opportunity to also link to that work.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that. I was more like just kind of going for the fact that, you know, it's always like ponify this, ponify that. I knew it was like kind of a bad idea. I just wanted to kind of see like what you thought of that idea in itself. And
I wouldn't say it's a bad idea. I think it's just an idea that I don't know its time has come yet. We've so much pony art right now, and people tend to collect it on these image boards and things like Derpy Boru and whatnot. And the artists themselves, everybody has their own kind of interest in how they want to display it. Like for some people, Tumblr is their medium. They do the interactive thing. Some of us want to just display it in a gallery format. Some people just go on an image board like PonyChan and say, hey, who wants me to draw stuff? And they draw it, and it's posted there, and then it just disseminates itself. So eventually, maybe it will get to the point where everybody wants just this one cohesive entity. But I don't think we're quite there yet.
Well, and there are a couple of those kind of boards, too. Like there's Pony Buru, or at least there was. And then
Brony Boru.
Brony Buru, yeah. And there's actually another force out there, which we would be remiss not to mention, which is the Draw Friend on EQD.
Yes,
And-
that's true, yes.
and
Don't forget Reddit.
Or Reddit, for that matter, yeah. I could say 4chan, but every time I say 4chan in a panel, everybody goes, ooh. Every single time. It's almost a rule of nature. But yeah, I would say, I mean, that's, for me, at least from my perspective, the first real interaction I had with Brony artwork was that Draw Friend. And I think it plays a real big role in getting people attention. And I know some artists who are friends of mine, like Skipsy, and if you guys know who he is, and, you know, well, a couple others who, whenever they're on, you know, on the Draw Friend, they're like, ooh, I'm number 42. So, gotta give at least that shout out to there. Well, how long? You mentioned, Mario. You mentioned that it took you about 20 hours to make that one 3-panel comic. Or not
That was like 8. That was a long comic.
Yeah. Well, and I know that a friend of mine who also does graphic arts for Everfree Radio, Sterling, if you've heard of him, Sterling Pony. He did the comic with the Cutie Mark Crusaders as Zelda and Link, and then Scootaloo as a chicken. If you guys haven't seen that, anyway, he told me it took him a really long time. But I kind of wanted to know how long it takes Citra U and Pixel U, and I'm gonna try and say it again, Trigion.
You're saying it right every time.
Well, you know what? I kind of figure if I correct myself in advance.
Okay, it's like pigeon with a T. It's Trigion, which means 3 parts.
So I'm going to try and say it. No, I mean, how long does it take you to make an average work of art? And when you're working on it, is it something you start and you just plow through, or is it something where you start one project, maybe do a second one at the same time? I mean, it just curious.
It's my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. To give an example, an illustration that took me 40 hours to do, can you search my name and then Daring Do? It should pull up.
Sure. What's your name again?
Artist backwards, 360.
We shall Google it.
For each illustration, it actually depends on the complexity of it and how much effort I put into it. Some illustrations is only 6 hours. Other times it is 52. It depends on each piece. Well, this one right here, it took about 40 hours to illustrate. I spent most of my time on the background. I come from Arizona, so you can see where I got influenced from. Whereas, if you search rarity in my gallery, you scroll down, it's like a vertical illustration. Further. There it is, on the right. That one was a challenge for me. I did a 1 hour speed paint and see how far I can go in just doing 1 hour. just to challenge myself. So to summarize it, it takes me however I want to put into it. What I really need to do is to determine when to stop. An artist knows when to stop, because honestly, I could keep going on forever and ever and ever. In fact, I'm 52 hours in on another illustration, and so far I only got 3 characters done. That one is a test of my realism skills.
Well, and there was actually, and they kind of explained something, but George Lucas once said that I think films aren't ever finished; they're just released or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Boo. He believes it.
Search my Apple one. You tell him.
Star Wars should have been.
I think he took that a little too literally.
Yeah.
I'm also putting
No,
up one other piece. And also, just because it's a cartoon doesn't mean you should do it fast, or if it's photorealistic doesn't mean you have to do it long. If you, it's not there.
A work of art.
If you come to my table, you get to see it. It's a photorealistic apple and hat. It only took 4 hours. And so if you try and do something realistic, it doesn't mean you have to take a long time on it. So it's an illusion. People see it, they're like, oh my goodness, it took forever. No, I didn't.
So, would you say that when you do a work of art, you don't go into it necessarily predicting it's going to take a certain amount of time? You may have like a vision for what you want the art to be, and then you just let it take as much time as it needs to get to that point that you...
Exactly. When I first started illustration, if you watch my time lapses on YouTube, it seems like very quick how I start them off. The reason is once I get the idea, I want to put it down onto digital paper as fast as I can. What you're seeing is basically exactly how I saw it, because I try to put it down in paper fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, in Pixel,
That's way too old.
do you
Don't
find
look at that.
this is well, one thing too? I keep saying this because to me it keeps blowing my mind. She does all of her artwork with a mouse.
Would it be a pain to bring up a piece on there?
Let me know what would you like?
With a mouse,
Wedspace, WEDSPACE. Okay.
not with a brush, not with a stylus,
No.
with
Well-
a mouse. I can't get over it.
To be fair, I work in multiple stages. Most of the stuff I do, at least for the longest time, was comics. It should be actually, if you scroll down, I think it's one of the. Oh, it's slow. I'm so sorry.
I just love your quote up there. 10 bags of Doritos is my joint.
Doritos are good. Yeah, who'd have thought that combining a Dorito with a taco would be a great idea? But boy, is it ever.
Well, and one thing too is that
That's the one.
you've got quite the. You're also known for your collecting of toys and such.
Yeah, I have a lot of ponies.
And I was in Canada just a couple months ago, and I saw one of those Sweetie Belle train cars, and I remembered you saying that they were really hard to find. And when I saw that, I was like, Pixel, get it.
I actually got one at Everfree, the Toys R Us there had
Okay,
one.
awesome.
But like with these comics, and it's taking a little bit to load because it's ginormous, but I'll start in multiple stages. I'll start in Word of all places, and I will plan out every line of dialogue and each panel and what's going on and who's in it and the background and things like that. And I like to even add in little background jokes, things you might not notice on a first pass. So I kind of try and plan those out too. Then I actually do use a stylus and a Wacom screen, and I sketch out kind of what I want. Badly. Really badly. My sketch skills are not as great as they probably should be. In school, we had to do life drawing, and I had to draw naked old people, and I made them look worse somehow. So sketching is not my forte, but it's a good tool to figure out spatial relations and where word balloons are going to go and things like that. And then, yes, I end up using a mouse and creating various shapes and building those shapes into ponies, rose bushes, snow globes, and whatever else. And I fill them with color, and I combine them, and every item in there is sort of designed separately and then added to the scene in layers. So.
And I just like how she also uses different, like she's got the felt going on, the felt look.
The felt is fun, yeah. The felt is fun because it's easy. It's the same theory as doing actual felt. Rather than having to spend all this time creating outlines and detail, you just cut out a shape and give it eyes, and it's a pony made of felt. So.
Well, and again, what you're doing, Trijan,
Yes.
is kind of a very different kind of art from what a lot of people are doing. Yours is based on a canvas, and so I wanted to know if you follow a similar kind of schedule, and just instead of using, say, a stylus or a mouse, you're using oils and brushes.
There are a lot of similarities and a lot of differences. I don't think the differences, or really even a lot of the similarities, come from the medium. It's just how I'm doing it. For example, Citrus said earlier that he doesn't plan out his paintings. He just comes up with an idea and then does them. I think I got that about right. In paraphrase. I actually go into a painting thinking I want to do this sort of style with, say, like I want to do a loose style Nightmare Moon, and I want to do it within 5 hours. And I'll try my best to stick to that. I actually usually generally run over on my time by a few hours, but that's kind of the first process. Though about half of my paintings, I actually don't know what I'm going to put down on the canvas until after I make the canvas. And so I'll find myself sitting around not doing anything productive. And so like, okay, I've got to do a painting. So I go into the basement, I cut out my boards, I nail them together into a frame. I go in the room, I boot up Livestream, I stretch the canvas on them, I make it a nice proportion that I like. I like long and skinny proportions generally, like tall with Canterlot or like wide with Castle Ruin. And then I'll be like, okay, I need to do a Rainbow Dash. So, but I really like wings. And this is the next one I want to do so I'm going to have a Rainbow Dash from behind so I can see all her wings stretched out. And I'm going to do it in a pretty loose style. And so this is the background I need to do, so I start with that first. Because with painting, I need to start the background first and then work forward. So the style is sort of spontaneous in a lot of the elements, but then other of the elements, I have to constrain myself. If it's entirely spontaneous, I'm just going to end up with who knows what. And so to avoid that...
Have you ever considered doing that? Just seeing what happens?
I sort of did that the first nightscapes I did. Like when I did Zap Apple Night, I kind of had an idea of how I wanted to do the background of the night sky, so I kind of tentatively put in the light colors in the background behind the stars, and then I splattered the stars in with the brush. But I was still doing it kind of tentatively, and I realized that I wonder what happens if I just go all out on that. So then I was making Canterlot Night, and I put in all the dark colors I had, like the darkest dark colors I had, and then I took in the white, and I brought out the colors in as close an approximation of the dry Arizona desert night sky as I could. And I wish that I could see it in person.
You should do that, man.
Because
awesome.
I absolutely love the colors in the night sky at your home state. And so that is kind of an example of me. I'm just going crazy with an idea, and then I put Canterlot in front of it.
Well, I think it's interesting that you build your own canvases. That's something that I should say, and this is a little bit shameless, but my mom is actually, she's known in the community because she's made a book, which is actually at the center of the Traveling Pony Museum. If you guys have seen that book, that was actually my mom. And she's, no. Applaud her. She's somewhere out there. And she's also incredibly modest, so she's probably right now just like doing one of these. But she goes by Snowlight on DeviantArt, and she uses a 0. But anyway, she does a lot of canvas work, and I know that when she does her canvas work, she goes and buys them from the art store. Is there a particular reason why you make the frames yourself and stretch the canvas yourself?
Firstly, that awesome art teacher I had in middle school taught me how to stretch my own canvases. So one, I already know how to do it. Two, I think building things is really fun.
Yeah,
I like taking hammer and nails and wood and saws and making something. It's just the physical act of it is fun. And the other side of it is I can make whatever proportions I like. Like I said earlier, I often like long and skinny proportions, like for the widescreen or the tall. Canterlot Night's an exception. It's a more normal aspect ratio. I think I used a 4:3 ratio on that. But I'll just sit there and think, I want 4:3 instead of having to go to the store and find it, and it'll be in one of like 5 different choices. I get to make it down to the 16th of an inch, exactly how I want it. The other side of it is that it is a lot cheaper because when I'm buying wood and canvas, I'm buying furniture making material, not artist supplies. And if anyone out there who's ever bought artist supplies knows, as soon as you put the term artist in front of it, you double the price.
Yep. Yep. He's applauding for the double price. It's like, yeah, double prices, let's go. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, in my youth, my reckless youth, I ended up taking an art class or two, and yeah, it's true. You can get the same spatula or whatever that you would get for cooking
Yeah.
or whatever, but it's the artist spatula, so it's $17 instead, right? It's just
Exactly.
ridiculous. Well, we've got just enough time, I think, for about maybe 10 minutes of Q&A. So this man over here, this chained rocket to insanity.
Well, actually, if you guys could just answer this really quick. This was one thing. It's like, like a picture's worth kind of 1,000 words, and every artist kind of wants, as far as I can see, wants to tell a story with their art, whether it be in actual words or in feelings of the piece. Where do you guys get your influences for that? I mean, I like, where do you get your comedy writing? Do you have someone do it for you in some cases? I don't know.
Me? No, I just think of them straight off my head. I try and keep something somewhat canon, and I just try and see if I can create a random story, but kind of make it have some sense in the pony realm of the show. But no, I just randomly think of an idea and I'll just go with it.
As for me, I try to do my own thing. I don't follow the herd within the herd. So I never painted a socks illustration or any little inner meme-sided community. What influences my art is basically my surroundings, what I do, the friends, my actual friends I meet in town all the time, what we do. My latest illustration is Rainbow Dash. If you see it on my table, you only can see it on my table. It's not online. Actually, you can pull it up on Tumblr. Can you go to Tumblr? It's the same name. I was watching a documentary from Red Bull of snowboarding. It's called Art of Flight. And I'm a snowboarder. You know the expression, your friend tell you jump off a cliff, will you do it? I did it many times. So I was just watching that, and all the expressions I give, and I put all that emotional feeling into the illustration. And the illustration looked like it took 20 hours, but because of how much I was into it only took 6. And it's just a wonderful feeling that you can create create into pixels what you're feeling, or onto a piece of paper, canvas, oils. Trish, you're making me want to paint oils. So that's where I get my influence for my art. Is it there? You never went there.
My head is a murky swamp of pop culture references, and if
Yeah.
you take a pony in there, everything from the Sex Pistols to obscure 70s horror films to comic books, whatever is going to stick. And I just find combining these completely opposite things together into a funny hodgepodge of weirdness to be highly entertaining. So that's what I do.
I think I've got a different story for a lot of my paintings, but so I guess I'll just say one. Before ponies, most of my inspiration would be like natural world, nature. I like doing landscapes because the bright colors and like sunshine and happiness and that sort of thing. And so when we found ponies and I watched the show, it's like it's full of all these things. And so sometimes there'll just be a single frame that I'll have to like go back and pause and try to catch on the YouTube thing until I got it and like, okay, I have to paint this. But then other ones, I was in the airport waiting for a connecting flight, really boring, when I pull up on my phone So Great and Powerful's new music video, The Standard Model. And it blew my mind. So I had to paint it. And then the process was, how do you paint a music video? So I did my best, and I came up with a scheme there in the airport, and then I kind of shook until I could finally get to my house and make the canvases and frames. And when I finally finished it, and I got all the really good reception that bronies are really good at giving, the best part was when So Great and Powerful put the link to the painting, the Standard Model series, on the YouTube link for the video, and that was awesome. So,
Can I have a quick word in? this is a tip for other inspiring artists and current artists. Get out of your home. Get outside. Do something. The reality has fantasy. If you look in it, even if you're in a flat plain area, look for it. Who has flown into this city around the sunset time? Anybody? Did you look outside the window towards the lake? Did you notice the sun looked like it was below the water? Just from that, you can take, there is fantasy in reality. If you paint that, it would be an amazing picture. That's my tip. Take a look at reality.
Maybe time for about one or two more questions.
Two.
Okay, you. Here we go.
I was just wondering, after you finish the painting, how do you get it onto DeviantArt or onto your computer?
Assuming you're talking to me, because anyway,
Well, they click a couple buttons.
Press the button to make art.
There we go. The best way would be if I had a nice, big, expensive scanner, but I don't have that. So what I do is I go outside on a partially cloudy day, partially cloudy because the light is white. If it's bright and sunny, it's yellow or blue, depending on if you're in bright sunlight or shadow, and that will mess with all the colors. So partially cloudy day, I take my camera, which I have an Olympus EPL1, or is it a Canon? It's an EPL1, and I take a picture of it, put it in the Photoshop. It has to be pretty much exactly square, otherwise everything will be skewed. So I dump it and try again until I get it exactly square. I edit the colors to make them as true to life as they possibly can be. Cameras do not like purple or orange. It can be hard
Sorry,
to get
Twilight
it just
and
right.
Applejack.
And then I upload it to DeviantArt. Hopefully one day I will have a scanner, and it will be a lot easier.
What do you guys do when you're working on a piece and you sort of get stuck, like in a rut? Is there any way to pull yourself out of that and maybe to find a new direction or find some new inspiration where you otherwise were stuck?
Can I take a?
Well, kind of alluding back to something Draft asked earlier, if I don't keep going, I will not finish something. I have an entire folder of unfinished projects that I just got to a point and either had something else to do or grew bored with it or whatever, and I don't finish. So ruts are kind of deadly to me as far as pony art stuff goes.
As for me, I'll pass along some wise counsel from an artist interview from a very popular magazine, game concept artist. This is his advice. I'll just do it. Just do it. Just go through it, because that's how you get your work finished. And if you ever get into that industry, that's how you get paid. And sometimes this extra stress actually enables you to do just a little bit better.
And I think sometimes for the artists and sometimes the musicians, even writers who I've interacted with, there's a term I call it. I get this from a very wise person. I call it liberal arts majoring the situation, overthinking it. It's just like you said, just do it sometimes. Just get it done.
Just do it.
Just do it.
We have time for. I think we got time for one more question.
Besides yourself, who is your favorite artist within the Brony community?
Can you say that again?
Our favorite artist within the Brony community.
Favorite artist within the Brony community.
Aside from yourself.
Oh, I'm too modest for that. I say Kevin Sano, his PG work. Yeah, I'm friends with him. We help each other out, working out each other's flaws so that we see. And I love the way he can just do shading just so well. Other artists I admire is JJ and his speed. He can work things out so quickly. And this is an unfair question. There's just way too many good artists out there,
My first and still probably biggest inspiration is Egophiliac, because she's modest and kind and brilliant. She can convey so much emotion and so much feeling with just a few lines in her work, and it's inspiring to me. It's stunning. So.
No, Pixel. For me, it's definitely no. It's for Pixel Case. That's for me because I remember it was like one of your comics. That was actually the whole reason why I actually got into comics. Was I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of your comics. The reason why it's like I like it because your backgrounds actually made me want to do really good backgrounds for one of my comics, and ever since then I've been doing backgrounds and taking a lot of time. And that's actually where the majority of my time comes in. Is if I do 8 hours of line art and ponies, 16 hours or something like that could be spent on the backgrounds.
And I should also mention too, Pixel Kitties did the backgrounds for Epic Wub Time. If you guys have seen that, so yeah. Come on. And if you see Rob Bob around here, he's somewhere around here. He's the creator of that, so he's at this convention. I don't know where he is right now, but anyway.
I've got of course, this probably changes just as often as favorite pony, probably. But favorite artist right now, I'm currently very, very impressed with the fan fiction writer Short Skirts and Explosions. I can't get enough of everything that he produces, and so, yeah.
All right, well, I think one last round of applause for these guys.
Hold on. I'm an artist for Double Rainbow. When it comes out, you guys get prepared because on it is going. And it's amazing. I'm sorry if I give anything away. So.
No, that sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I totally can hear it. Yeah. All right. So give it up for Talks of Mario. 360. No, Citra, Pixel Kitties, and Tridion.
That's the only time you
I
ever
know.
on.
I know.